Hey, so I got a comment earlier that made me think, like it made me realize I haven't really explained anything about the cognitive functions of an ENTP or I think any of the types really. I might have briefly gone over them in other videos, but I haven't ever made a video where it's like any TI, FE, like in that order, just explaining how they work or whatnot. Yeah, because I know someone commented on one of my videos and was like, "You're an F." I'm like, okay, great. And I was thinking about it. My mind instantly went to the reasons, because it's like my mind instantly goes into debate mode whenever I see something I disagree with. It's like my NE and TI kind of work together, and for some reason I see it like it's like TI is like my swords, and NE is like my, I don't even know what NE would be. For some reason, the first image that pops into my head is like this circle, and then there's like swords coming out of it. I don't know, for some reason, it's really weird. Anyhow, so when I see something I disagree with, I'm like, tack. And so I was thinking about my cognitive functions and how they work, and I was like, so ENFP, you've got, if I were an F, my counterpart's that, you've got FI and TE, which I have very low of, just me personally. Just T kind of annoys me sometimes. And, like, not all the time. Like, I love TE sometimes when my sister has it, or when sometimes it can be really annoying. It just depends. It's probably the most frustrating cognitive function for me personally. Although, that being said, I actually really like INTJs, particularly girl INTJs. For some reason, if someone's a girl or a boy, like, with their MBTI types, like I really like girl INTJs, I really like girl ENFJs, but boy ENFJs I have to kind of get used to. Like I have a good ENFJ friend that's a guy, but when I first met him, I was like, like nope, I don't like you. But we grew on each other, and so, but yeah. So, gosh, what was my original point? I'm so tired right now. Feel like I'm gonna go off track a lot. But anyhow, so definitely don't have TE, definitely don't have FI. Gosh, I'll get into that in a little bit, just how my FI works and how it doesn't work. Anyways, like that thought process made me think I should make a cognitive function for ENTP. I'm gonna go through with the most extreme functions for ENTP first. For some reason, that just works better with me. So let's see, how can I do this? Yeah. So my first one is gonna be any. That's my top function. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, you can. So extroverted intuition. ENTPs are neophiliacs for this reason, and ENFPs. ENFPs and ENTPs both have primary NE. Just love new things. It's viewing possibilities. That shows up a lot just with my desire to find new things. And when I let's see, what's an example of this? I know, like, I view possibilities really well. So like I'll do writing with my friends, and we'll just do like role plays or whatever, and just me and my friend together. Me and her, and she says I come up with plots and characters and stuff really fast. Like she has to think about them a while. She's ESTP, and she has to kind of develop them slowly. And I'm just like, I just come off of it right off the bat because that's my NE. I can view a lot of possibilities really fast. This also gives me an overactive imagination. Basically, your first function is like your superpower, but that can harm you a lot. Like anything to the extreme harms you. I would say almost anything to the extreme. And so this can harm me as well. And ENFPs have it worse, this aspect, because their second function is an F function. I don't have it quite as bad, but I do tend to have an overactive imagination, and my mind will like see a possibility, and if I have emotions in the mix as well, which I don't always, but like occasionally I'll have emotions in the mix as well. That's always a bad mix, is if I think of a lot of possibilities and I have emotions. Now, granted, I'm a pretty numb emotion-wise, actually. I've done some research. I went to a psychologist one time, and I was talking to her about stuff, and she was like, do you, like, we were talking about emotions, and she was like, do you feel anything ever? Like, she asked me that, and my first thought jumped on sociopaths. Even though I know sociopaths have emotions, it just made me laugh because I could see her going down that trail of being, I really, really wanted to, like, mess with that and just pretend like I had no emotions, but that's something I would have done when I was 12, and I'm not 12 anymore. But yeah, so, what was I saying? See, I'm saying, like I said before, I'm getting off track a lot today. So, yeah, so I overthink things, and I have an overactive imagination. I really do. And I played with my imagination a lot when I was a kid. And, so I think that my TI helps a lot, but even with my TI, I think that seeing so many possibilities sometimes makes it hard. I know that the accompaniment of having low SE and having high NE makes it very difficult for me to make decisions, because when you have more decisions available to you, it's a lot harder to make a decision. They did a study on that people were happier with fewer decisions, in fact, than more. Because it's harder for some reason for us to make decisions when we have so many options. So when I'm standing here, I'm like I see so many options. I see so many pros and cons for each option. Like, I see it all, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I'm really bad with decisions. Man, this video is gonna end up being long as well. Sorry. This is because I ramble too much. So let's see. So yeah, anyhow, that's enough on that. My lowest function, since we're starting with the extremes and working from there, is SE. SE, I almost never use it. I am fascinated with it, but I don't use it naturally at all. I know I do, like, I'll be sitting somewhere, and I do enjoy, like, just sitting there and just taking in my surroundings and, like, noticing things and just, like, really, like, being aware. So, like, it's amazing the things you notice when you're actually paying attention. So I'm just like, I'll look at things and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I never even saw that, or I never even heard that. I wasn't even listening. Like, right now, so, like, I can do it now. It's like, cars outside driving past. I didn't even hear that before until I actually stopped and like really listened, and I was like, okay, what's going on? And it's not because I have bad hearing. I just don't pay attention to it. I just zone it out. I've got pretty good hearing. I'm actually, yeah, anyhow, not going down that rabbit trail. So it's like, even though I do enjoy stopping and using my SE, I don't do it naturally. I'm really oblivious to my surroundings, and makes me really clumsy and run into things a lot. ENFPs have the same issue. Yeah. Granted, that doesn't say all ESTPs and ESFPs aren't clumsy, because many of them are. I know my best friend is clumsy. Yeah, but she's got high SE. But it's still, that's pretty much why I am, is because I'll zone out or whatever, and then I'll run into a wall. So it also makes me bad at decisions. It makes me not impulsive too. That's something I can't really understand, like how people are impulsive, because I think about everything before I do it. My ESTP friend is like, she's like, I don't understand that because I'm impulsive so much. Like, she says it's almost an issue with her, like, or it is an issue because she's impulsive too much. And my ISTP, I just dropped the microphone. If you heard that, you probably did. My ISTP boyfriend, he's very impulsive as well, because he's got secondary SE. But I don't understand that. Like, no, I think about everything before I do it. Only little actions. I've tried paying attention to it more, and I do act impulsively sometimes, but it's just little everyday actions, and that's probably more my SI than my SE even then, because it's just stuff I do all the time. I just do it from memory. So yeah, I don't hardly any SE. I do, like I said, I do enjoy using my SE. I really like paying attention to, like, my senses, because it's interesting. And I really like doing actions or hobbies that utilize my SE, because it's just fun and interesting. Granted, I do get really bored with other stuff, other hobbies or whatnot that utilize my SE. I don't know if other ENTPs are like this, but I get headaches in museums and aquariums because I'm looking at stuff. That's all I'm doing, and I can't stand it. It's like, no, I like history, and I like seeing the animals, the fishes at aquariums. It's just, I can't stand it. So yeah, I get really bored sometimes using my SE. It just depends. I know I really like throwing knives, and it's like really satisfying. When it sticks or when you get it or whatever. And I really like driving things. I like a jet ski. Like, I drove a jet ski, and it was just so much fun. So yeah, anyhow, rambled on that too much. Back to my primary functions. My second function is TI. So it goes like that. Like I said, so secondary and primary functions are still something I'm trying to figure out. I know it's like, in my mind, I kind of view it as your primary function is like the type of car you drive or the type of vehicle you're driving, and then your secondary function is the driver. So your secondary function leads your primary to function. I've definitely always been really logical, like really harshly logical. I've gotten better at not being so around other people, like just not like offending people around me, and being a jerk. But when I was younger, I had a lot of trouble with I don't even know, like, I want to call it trouble. I don't know. I know I've gotten into debates before where I've made people really mad just because, like, I was just really blunt and really just like, here's how it is. That's my introverted thinking, just very logical. I've always been very intellectually leaning. I remember I had this long debate with my INTP uncle when I was 13. When I was even half that age, I remember sitting, or maybe a little older than half that age, I sat out for a long time talking philosophy with my ENTP uncle, like the NTPs. And so, just very, like, logic-based. ENFPs versus ENTPs I think ENFPs also kind of enjoy that, but it's in a different way. They like using their FI with that. So they like, if they're going to be in debates, then it's like, what's right and what's wrong kind of thing. Like when I talk to ENFPs, now not all, and especially the ones watching this aren't going to be this way, because I mean, they're probably into MBTI if they're watching this, but like other ENFPs, I've talked to them, like I was talking to my new ENFP friend the other day, and yesterday actually, and no, it was the day before, can't remember. Anyways, I mentioned the personality test, and I was like, have you guys taken MBTI personality test? And the ENFJ at the table was like, what's that? Like, that sounds really interesting. And then the ENFP would be like, personality test? Well, only I know who I am. And I was like, well, yeah, but it's not, like, it doesn't define you. It's just studying what's already there. And he's like, yeah, well, I don't know. Like, he was definitely using his FI, because he was like, that's wrong. You are who you are. You're unique. Like, the ENFPs are going to be the fuzzy, like, those inspirational quotes, those like equality, those like fuzzy, like, we're just, I don't know how to explain it. So when they're debating, they're going to be very kind of what's wrong and what's right. That a lot more centered on that, and they're kind of the world changers. ENFPs are ENFPs and ENFJs, especially ENFPs though. They want to change the world. They want to go out and make a difference for the good. Me, I don't have that desire. No. I have very low FI. I'll get into that in a second. So when I debate, I'm studying all the logic. I utilize my TI a lot. I definitely don't do it as strong as a primary function TI, of course, but I mean, to me, it's pretty obvious that like ISTPs and INTPs, when I'm watching them, I'm like, you use introverted thinking to the point where it seems like it's not fun. Like, it's like I love INTPs and ISTPs, but at the same time, like I wouldn't want to be one because it's just like so much logic. It's just I like logic. I get annoyed when there's not logic. But when I don't want it to like rule my life, I guess. I don't know. But I also don't want to be like impulsively emotional or whatever, like emotion. I don't know. I like logic though. It's the most annoying thing when I see something that doesn't have logic. Like I don't get insulted by things. It's not like people insulting me that makes me mad. It's when people say something that I think is dumb. That gets me so mad. I don't know why. Just like when I see something and I think there's so little logic in what you just said. I just want to, like, when I see something that's illogical, I see it and I think, I get mad because I'm like, what you just said has so little common sense in it. It's so stupid. And then after that, my reaction is to attack it. I just want to debate and just crush it down and just destroy all the lack of logic that's there. And I have to restrain that so much because there's so many idiots in the world. And I come across this all the time. And so I have to like no, there's no point in debating in this. There's nothing I could gain from it. Like, there's no point in debating if you're not going to gain anything from it. And sometimes it's more effective to just not reply. Like, sometimes that speaks louder than words. And like I said, when I'm debating, it's a very TI, any TI, like, I see all the ideas and possibilities and I attack it. So, like, TI is my swords. Definitely. TI are my swords, and any is my, any are my troops, and TI is my sword. Or any is my training area or battleground. Anyhow, away from analogies, my second lowest in my shadow functions, that's what the last 4 functions are called. Those are the functions, by the way, you use when you're stressed out. So actually, when I'm stressed out, that's another thing about my SE. I'm super good under like immediate stress, because I'm actually good at using my SE when I'm under immediate stress because my functions flip when I'm under immediate stress, and I'm just very good at reacting and just acting with a clear head. Like whenever I feel nervous, I essentially just kill the emotions of nervousness because I deem them illogical. And so when I feel nervous and I'm like, nope, like there's no point, and I just ignore it completely. And I can ignore emotions pretty well and bottle them up. That's an issue that most T's have though, with bottling up emotions, because they always come back for you. But nervousness does not. Nervousness does not come back for me, so I don't have to worry about that. Anyhow, my second to last function is FI. And let me FI is about as confusing as SE is for me. The idea of using it. I don't use my FI very much. Someone did point out online that like, because I claimed that I never used my FI, like I don't have any morals that I've created from FI, and someone was like, well, do you ever feel feelings of injustice? And I was like, oh, that's true. I mean, occasionally I do have the feelings of what that person is doing is wrong. Like, that's annoying to me because that's wrong. But it really doesn't happen very much. All my morals have been created from logical reasoning, and that's not FI. Just because they're morals doesn't make them FI. That's TI. I've decided this is the more logical rule to have to live by. This makes more sense. FI are feelings. It's not logical reasoning creating morals. They're feelings. So you feel that it's wrong. You feel that this is justice. You have, or other internal feelings. FI users have strong internal feelings. They have strong hearts. They're very noble and have a strong sense of justice. You're going to have a lot of vegetarians who have strong FI. I don't have that. Yeah, definitely most of my morals are created from TI. I very rarely use my FI. Which, even when I'm under stress, I really don't see my FI very much. When I'm under stress, I see my extroverted thinking and extroverted sensing. And maybe a little bit of introverted intuition. But extroverted sensing and extroverted thinking. I'm very external when I'm under stress. Pretty good at reacting quickly, about thinking logically. And so, yeah, maybe I'll have to look into that more, with cognitive functions and under stress and such, but, yeah, so, definitely don't have very much FI at all. Not at all. It's a very low function for me. Very low, about as low as SE in my mind, but I know I use SE less. It's a lower function, but, so yeah, it's just your values and your morals, and I don't have those very well naturally. Of course, I do have some. Everyone's going to have some instincts of killing that person is wrong, or that person that you'll have those feelings of, like, I'll see something really horribly injustice, and I'll think, wow, that's awful. But I definitely have it much less than I think the average person. So next is your extroverted feeling. Oh no. That's feeling people's emotions around you. It's not necessarily that you reply to their emotions well. That's going to be more of an FI thing. FE is mostly just empathy. It's, I can feel someone's emotions around me. Some people are really, like, emotionally oblivious like that. Like, ENFPs aren't so bad at it, but, like, even though they're good at helping people, they're really great at helping people and really great at, like, just, like, empowering them and stuff, but actually sensing the emotions of people around them, they aren't as great at. They can be kind of emotionally oblivious sometimes in that respect, even though they are Fs. Like, them being Fs doesn't make them automatically be able to sense everyone's emotions around them. That's only if you have extroverted feeling. I know my friend was talking about how her grandma, who's ENFP, came over, and she was talking with her mom, and then her grandma would say things, and my friend would be like, oh my gosh, she would just be horrified, like, do you not, because she's INFJ, so this comes really easily to her, and she's like, do you not realize that when you say that, then that leads to, like, this happening? Like, do you not realize how it impacts people around you? And I know, like, my ENFP friend says that sometimes she says things and people react badly just because she says things carelessly. This doesn't make ENFPs bad people, of course. Not at all. They're very, very nice people generally. They're one of the more cuddly types in my mind. Cuddly in a good way. I like ENFPs generally. But yeah, so I'm getting more. Yeah. So with me, I'm pretty good at, like, I can sense people's emotions around me. Like when my mom's like feeling like stressed out or like panicky or whatever, I'm like, or angry, I'm really tense. And my sister won't sense this because she's ISTJ, and she'll just be like messing around and like just in la la land and be doing things, and I'll be like, Sophie, like, stop, like do you not feel the environment? So like, of course, when I debate, my FE goes away. That's my issue with debating. is I totally lose all FE, because FE is what helps you like be good to people and like talk with them well and stuff, or like be nice to them or say things in the way, like you can say one thing and say the exact same information, but one way you could say it would be highly offensive, and the other way you could say the same exact information in a not offensive way. That's FE versus not FE, or the other way around. I forget how I said it. So ENFJs I've seen ENFJs before, and it's just like, I'm just astonished. I had an ENFJ friend, and he manipulated a situation just like that, and I was like, what kind of like inhuman being are you? Are you a sociopath? Like my gosh. So I lose that when I debate, which is the main issue I have with debating, is I've gotten a lot of people like really offended because I'm just very blunt and just like I can debate really well with TPs. I've never had a problem with that, ever. It's everyone else, because I'm so blunt and harsh, and I'm not gentle at all with what I say. Normally I'll have a pretty good awareness of like what I'm saying could be highly offensive, but I just lose that when I debate. So now I'm getting a lot more into functions that are a lot less dramatic. My third to last function is TE. Like I said earlier, TE, it can be irritating to me. I really don't use it that much. Really, a lot of my shadow functions I don't use, which might need to be changed for maturing purposes, but at the moment I really don't use my TE that much. I can't even think of situations where I use it. I kind of rebel against TE and the whole concept of it. Yeah, I really don't know. I can't even think of like examples where it's obviously not in my life. It's just I kind of ignore it. So I don't really have anything to say to that. If there are ENTPs watching this and have examples of when they use TE, post a comment, because I don't even know. My fourth primary, the last of my primary, introverted sensing. Introverted sensing, so your fourth function is kind of an all or nothing function, and that's very true for me for introverted sensing. I either like don't do it, use it at all, or I use it a lot. The ways that it comes up is like, okay, for example, earlier I lost the knife that I use a lot when I'm throwing knives. It's just a butter knife. It's not anything special. We have tons of other ones, but I really wanted to use this knife. And so because it's the one I've been using, and it's got all my dirt marks on it from the grass outside. Like, genuinely, that's my reason, is like it looks used, and I like it, and I've bent it back into place a lot of times and stuff, because for a while I failed to hit it a lot, and so I really wanted it because it was the knife that I started with, and so I was like looking everywhere for it. I never was able to find it, but I spent a ridiculous amount of time looking for it because I really wanted to use the same one. That's introverted sensing. Just wanting to do things the same way. A good example of this is in 7 Psychopaths. I don't know what type he was. He could be ESFJ. I don't know. I have no idea. But they have high SI. But in the movie called 7 Psychopaths, the villain, he had this gun with a blue handle, and it would always malfunction. So he'd shoot it, and then nothing would come out because it'd like jam or something like that. And so the guy was like, why don't you just get a new gun? And he was like, I like this gun. It's got a blue handle. And he's like, and then that ended up biting him in the back later. But that's also introverted sensing. That's the exact way it shows up for me. I use that as an example talking to my sister. It's the exact same way. It's just like I want to use the same things. Not all the time, of course. It just shows up in really just totally random places. Just just being comfortable with the usual. One of the many paradoxes of an ENTP is that I want things to be the same, but I can't handle things being the same. I'm a neophiliac. I have to have things changing. Yeah, I have to have things changing, but I also get kind of uncomfortable with change, and that's your introverted sensing being an all or nothing. So like things are changing, and part of me is like, this is great, and the other part of me is like, no, my normal things, I want them, and it's comfortable for me. And so yeah, that's how my introverted sensing shows. And sometimes I feel introverted sensing a little bit, and then I kind of rebel against it, like that's stupid and there's no reason for it. There's no reason to do that the same way as like normal. So yeah, the last function I'll go over with ENTPs is I'm running out of room. I rarely get gut feelings, ever. I guess all my secondary functions are really low. I should probably fix that. It's probably not very like mature. The only example I can have of NI is I was watching a movie called Gone Girl the other day, or I started watching it. We have movie nights every Friday, and that was the movie night. And the moment the title screen came up, I knew I shouldn't be watching this movie. That's like the only time I felt NI recently, or that I can think of. It's like the only real good example ever that I've had. I just knew it's not a movie I should be watching, and for the whole like first part of it, I was sitting there really uncomfortable. Like, I know I shouldn't be watching this. This isn't the kind of movie that I need to be watching. And like I was like, I don't know why, but for some reason, and I'm usually like, I don't want to trust feelings. Usually I kind of just disregard them. So for this, I was just sitting there like I don't know why I feel like because I'm not used to gut feelings, so I'm like, this is weird. And eventually I listened to it, and once I listened to it, I was like really glad I did. I was just thinking back to it, and I was like, it seemed obvious that I just didn't have been watching it. And so that's really the only time I can think of introverted and intuition. Someday soon, I'm gonna have my INFJ friend, and we're gonna do a video together. And she can probably explain a little more on introverted intuition, since she uses it so much. I don't really understand it fully either. Like all the other shadow types, like just how it works. Like, you just know things. Like, to me, if I know something, I know why I know it. So yeah, that's really the only example I can think of that I've ever had for introverted intuition. Yeah, that's all I can think of. So drop my pen. Good, because I don't need it anymore, because we're done. See? You've got your primary up here, shadow down there. I can't reach it with my pinkies. And that's your flipped. See? So that's your ENTP. If I had my pen, I'd write ENTP in the middle, but I don't want to go down and get it because it fell off my bed. So if you guys have any other types that you want me to go through, I know that was a little long. I'd be happy to go through any of the other types' cognitive functions. I understand them relatively fine. The main thing I'm working on now with cognitive functions is like figuring out like how primary works in each of the types, how secondary works, how your third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, how those all affect the type, how they react under stress. I'm still working on learning on those. The actual functions I know relatively well. So I'd be happy to explain the cognitive functions of other types. And thanks for watching again. If you made it through this far, kudos to you. So it's kind of long, and I will be coming out with new videos soon. And bye.